Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hi, this is Jenna.
And this is Kelly.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is One Decorative Rock from Murder. So I wanted to share with everybody a listener email that we got because it's freaking a gem. And it's
awesome.
Hilarious. So yes. So Joy, thank you for bringing us joy.
Joy brought us joy.
Joy
It was a very joyful inbox surprise.
I love her inboxes. So we've gotten a few from her, but I'm just going to start with this one because it's so good. So this is referencing a couple of our episodes. It says, "Hi, ODFM. I just got into your show after the Darkcast Network Halloween episode. Whoop, whoop."
Thank you, Darkcast Network.
And she said, and we're definitely one another's people. So, yes. It says, since I'm a Los Angelino and am therefore one long drive down Mulholland, I think it was One Dark Road.
One Dark Road. Yeah, that was the one that was
up in California Hills. Yeah, that shooter. Whoa. But she's one long drive down from Mulholland from the events of season 4, episode 1. So if you guys want to check that one out.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you what I know about all that. Honestly, I didn't think Anthony Rauda, I think it was a very good suspect for the Lost Hills shootings either. Remember how he was the guy who had to wear the spit cover in court?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. It's hard to forget a detail like that.
Yes
I do.
All right. She goes on to say, but then I listened to a fantastically researched deep dive on the topic by pro journalist Dana Goodman's appropriately named Lost Hills, Dead in the Water, and have thoroughly changed my mind.
Oh.
She says a plebe like me can't even add to her coverage, except to say the evidence unearthed was worse than damning, really.
See, we don't really get, the public doesn't hear.
Right. We don't get some of this. And it's not in the article. So this is awesome. Yeah. She said, although the actual item was destroyed along with everything else in the Woolsey fire, remember it had that big fire that had blown through.
Yes.
Who knows if any of this could ever be proven in court. But this guy, he made his own gun. And there are pictures of it from the day his hideout was uncovered. So he actually did have a gun there. Dude isn't competent enough to manage himself in society or probably ever stand trial, but he is more than competent when it comes to creating a weapon and committing murder.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. Not because he's evil either, like some guys who kill and spend all their free time preparing for or fantasizing about killing. He has a paranoid thought disorder and is extremely vulnerable himself. Which is why I'm glad for all our sakes that he's in a secure psych facility now, which we were saying too, he just needs help.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's getting help. She says, of course, former LASD Sheriff Villanova never helped the situation one tiny bit. He's as much of a dud and ass shoulder deep in cronyism as any stereotypical good old boy his platform promised he would replace. She says, honestly.
It's better than we do.
I love it. She says, honestly, fuck that guy, LOL. And she says, and speaking of that, Cece, California is called the land of fruits and nuts for a good reason, and it can be hard to tell who's a harmless oddball eccentric versus who is a genuinely unhinged, possibly dangerous person with questionable motives. With any sort of proximity, Cece comes across like less and less of the former, uncomfortably more and more like the latter. She said the source of that is a former friend who was her former neighbor.
Oh.
She's the exact type of person who makes out-of-staters wish Malibu, all of LA really, was reduced to smoking rubble once and for all.
God.
Not to mention she probably fucked Villanova and his wife, but that's none of my business.
Whoa.
She's got a little cocktail emoji.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay.
What we do know is that she's one of the cronies he did favors for, and she openly, publicly bragged about it, boasting that she was untouchable because of her close friend Alex. That was going to do her bidding for all time and eternity. Hope she's crying into her low-calorie wine now because old Alex got whooped in the last election and finally conceded several days ago after hanging on and crying like some other elected moron in recent memory, long after the results were evident. She says, boy, bye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. As for the possible gunfire continuing to echo down the canyon, they're copycats, she says, and probably cartels. But I don't know which and who it might be since I'm not the cops. Zing, because all the cops can't get.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so thanks for reading this newsletter you never subscribed to.
Yeah, does she have a blog? Because I would follow her blog.
We need a blog by Joy. And we'll share more recent ones later on that she sent because they're hilarious. She even did a voice recording for us, which is golden. So
awesome. Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Joy. Hope everybody else enjoyed also. And if you would also like to share with us letters or whatever, it's odfmpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Please. We'd love to hear from you.
we
like knowing that we're not the only ones
finding this shit crazy.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
We're getting out there with our.
Yeah, we're starting.
Yeah, we're having to reach at this point. No.
Well, a little bit, depending on what the thing is. But yeah, all the
very well fits.
All the easy ones are. We use those up in the first couple seasons.
But yeah, this one's very fitting. I don't know if there would have been a different one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. Color me intrigued.
All right. So we're starting out this story with big negative vibes already.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. But I came back, brought it back to Colorado. So
okay. Oh, all right. Bringing it home.
Bringing it home. So this is in Montrose, Colorado. Okay. Beautiful area. It's on the western slope, so kind of near where we used to live. So this is back in 2003. There's Irene Trujillo and her husband, Rick, and they are in the middle of a bitter divorce.
Yep.
Call Big Lou.
Sounds about right.
That's all we could say. Call Big Lou.
Call Big Lou. You need a lawyer? Call Big Lou.
Except he's in Chicago. Dang it.
Oh, yeah. That's not going to help.
Damn it. So the pair, soon to be divorcees, they own a decorative rock business together. Kind of like stone, quarries and stuff. Out here, xeriscaping's huge because we have no water in the desert.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm with you.
So
I'm
decorative rock.
I just don't picture it because I don't have the money to have
giant boulders,
giant landscaping. I don't have a fountain in my yard or any of that shit. So, okay.
Nope. But out here, it's cheaper to do it ahead of time than to try to water things because water is so freaking expensive. So
gotcha. Okay. I'm with you.
So they have 3 daughters. So their lives are completely entwined, having a business together, having their kids. So
this is going to be very tangly because I'm guessing. So it's not amicable. It's bitter.
It's bitter. Ugh. So untangling it is really messy and stressful.
Which is messful. Yes.
It's messful.
That was accurate.
To say the least, their lives are messful. The pair is separated while the girls are still pretty young. I think their oldest was maybe 16.
Okay.
At the divorce time. Probably years before that they had separated. The young girls remember constant fighting and nasty custody battle. And in the end, Rick, the husband, got main custody of the girls. Oh. And I know. And they stayed with him during the week. I think it's because I read the mom was battling alcoholism at that time.
Oh, that'll do it. Okay.
Yeah. And their mom got them on the weekends. So once the pair split, Irene stayed on at the rock quarry in Montrose, and Rick started a stone company 100 miles away up in Carbondale. So that's kind of
they don't want to be fighting for the same customers. They don't want to be competitors.
They don't want to be competitors. And he's up near Vail. Carbondale's like this beautiful area up near Vail. So you get all the richies up there with the...
It's probably a good place to have that.
Irene's attorney was setting up a settlement where Irene would get the Montrose quarry and 120 acres of land, while Rick would get the Carbondale quarry along with 40 acres in Montrose and another 40 in Olathe, which is a gorgeous town 15 miles from Montrose. Olathe is beautiful. They have this sweet corn festival every year, and they have huge country names come out. I don't know them because I don't listen to country, but yeah, cool area.
Wow. Okay.
But anyway, they were all set to sign the agreement. I mean, acreage in Olathe, that's worth a lot. So I couldn't see why he would be mad about it.
So she had more acreage, but hers wasn't valued as high as the acreage that he had. So that makes sense. That sounds pretty balanced.
Right. It sounds like a good balance. So they were supposed to be filling out this paperwork and getting it all taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So, however, and this is like the day before this. So April 9th of 2003, one of Irene's girls, she gets a voicemail from her mom, and Irene's voice sounds shaky on the message, and she's telling her daughter how much she loves her and, sounds very emotional, and then hangs up. So the daughter's the oldest of the three. This is a 16-year-old, and she's like, tries to call her mom back, but doesn't give an answer. And in true teen fashion, she's like, oh, well, doesn't give it another thought. She's like,
She didn't answer.
She didn't answer. I tried. I forgot about it and went to school.
Oh, my God.
2 days after that call, another of Irene's daughters has been trying to call her mom all week, but her mom hasn't called her back. And that's super unusual.
Right. Okay.
She's an involved mom. She always calls her kids. So when this daughter doesn't hear back, she calls a man named Lionel that works at the rock quarry in Montrose. Okay. So Lionel and the daughter, they start looking for Irene. I'm assuming she traveled there or was already in that area.
Okay.
So they look at her house. She's not there. She's not at the hospital. They haven't had any recent records of her.
Oh, like they looked. They're like, okay, they're calling the police and the hospitals and the...
Right. They're trying to find her. Called, of course, went to the quarry. Can't find her anywhere. So the kids are getting pretty worried. They go back to their dad, and Rick decides to file a missing persons report with the police in Montrose because he's like, okay, well, there's no sign. We better do something. So the sheriffs go out to the quarry to look for any sign of Irene and to gather info. The crew that worked with her said they hadn't seen her for 2 to 3 days, but that wasn't all that weird to them. The employees are like a well-oiled machine. They run all the day-to-day operations, handle all the stuff going on. And Irene handles more of the managerial tasks, and she would take days off often and go do her own thing.
And she didn't have to be at the actual quarry for that kind of stuff.
Right. So it wasn't that weird to them. But, okay, so the business was called Montrose Stone. And the Montrose Stone Company employees, they're like a tight crew.
Okay.
So they, along with Irene, they're like a whole family, and they look out for each other. So it's a small crew, and Irene makes sure everyone's paid well, and she treats them like family. So they really seem to all love her.
Okay.
Police are a little suspicious when work kept on, like nothing happened at the quarry. Oh. But like no operation stopped, checks are being written and paid, orders are filled.
Okay.
The investigators like, how does this work still go on with the owner gone? And,
Right. Who's signing all these checks? Who's keeping it all moving?
Right. But for the crew, they're like, well, we know what's expected of us, and we're going to keep working until Irene tells us to stop because they're dedicated.
Well, no, I understand that. But like, what was her purpose at the quarry if she wasn't the one signing the checks and stamping the approvals and shit?
Just the owner? I mean, you kind of have to be around some, so.
Yeah. Okay. A little weird. All right.
A little weird. So police start grabbing her phone records and her financials, but there's no actions on her account since she had gone missing. They also check her house where there's no signs of a struggle. Nothing's missing, not even her bags. So it's not like she went on a trip or something and didn't tell anyone.
Okay. So she just was abducted by aliens. She just disappeared.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. That's the most logical. Yeah.
They take cows and Irene's. Right. Yes.
Irene's.
So as for Rick, Irene's estranged husband, he agrees, we need to find Irene, but he's not really grieving or seems very shocked. But they're also going through this horrible battle, and apparently Irene had been refusing to sign a lot of the divorce agreements over the 3 years they'd been going through this. And I think he's just like, fuck that lady in a way, Right. Not to the point that he'd want her dead by any means, but.
Yeah, but I mean, he should want his daughter's mom around.
You would think, yes, because it would be hard for their daughters. But
it's weird. Okay.
Irene's divorce attorney did say the divorce is bitter. It's been going on for more than 3 years. And he also says, well, Irene was super happy that the divorce was being finalized. She was upbeat the day before she went missing. She's looking forward to the future without Rick.
Okay.
And he really believed that there's no reason for her to leave. And so he said, it's got to be that she's just not alive because everything was coming up roses for her,
Well, yeah. And where would she be if she hasn't spent any money or used her phone or.
And they don't know of a boyfriend or anything. And if the employees know her that well. They would know of something.
Yeah, they would.
And then a month after her disappearance, someone broke into her house.
That's weird. Okay.
Isn't it? It's like they knew she was gone.
Right.
The burglar trashed her house, like empties drawers everywhere, breaks everything, steals.
Jeez.
I know, which is heartbreaking for her daughters. Like they probably are keeping things perfect in case she comes back. And so they stole all the electronics they could get their hands on.
Burglars don't usually trash a place. I mean, they take stuff, but they don't spend the time to...
Like looking through things? Were they looking through drawers for something?
Yeah.
You know? So her laptop was one of the items stolen, which would have had information about her divorce and particularly Rick. So townspeople are like, it's got to be Rick. It's got to be Rick has to be involved.
She had a missing persons case. Why didn't the police take her laptop?
Yeah, it seems like police aren't doing much in this situation. I think it was that typical thing where police are like, oh, she just wanted to get away from her life. Things had been stressful. She probably just took off. She'll contact you guys in a while type of thing without really investigating it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it was weird that her laptop was still there.
Yeah, I do too.
So.
Fortunately, though, police get a call from someone claiming they witnessed a man with specific items that were stolen from her home.
Oh.
This person with the stolen items was Lionel Lopez, the man who worked at the rock quarry for Irene. Yeah.
Ooh.
And the thing is, Lionel wasn't just any worker. Like, he was Irene's right-hand man at the stone shop. Like, he helped with everything from moving rocks to making business deals, getting new accounts, everything in between.
Oh.
And he was a family friend. And he acted as an uncle, kind of, to Irene's kids. Like, they were all so close.
Ooh, this doesn't look good.
I know. Ooh, heartbreaking. So police grab Lionel, and they do find that he has some of the items that were claimed to have been stolen from Irene's home. A friend of Lionel's, though, like that worked with him, said, no way. There's no way he did it because just before her disappearance, Irene had given Lionel a TV, and that's the item police thought he stole from her. So he's like, no. She gave him this. But how do you prove that? Like right before.
Oh, yeah.
And his friend said, no, I tell you, this happened before she moved. He showed me it, or before she disappeared.
Well, and if it's just one item, he didn't have multiple items. He had a TV.
There was kind of one article said he was found with stolen items, plural, but this friend says it's just the TV. This friend goes on to describe Montrose as a conservative area that Lionel would make a convenient fall guy. So I was like, what does that mean? Because Lionel was Mexican. Do they mean it's because he's Mexican or because he's a blue collar worker or what? Huh. He never explained why he thought he would make a good fall guy, but he felt like he was being set up.
Okay.
But that was just one friend's opinion, you know. I thought we should get them all. So
right, yeah.
So police are holding Lionel for the burglary and as a potential murder suspect because they're like, maybe she went missing. I don't know. Maybe she's murdered. But they have no evidence to show that she was murdered, you know?
She's just vanished.
Gone. Yeah. So meanwhile, 2 months after her disappearance, Irene's ex, Rick, and they had a silent partner, Bob, Rick and Bob.
Silent. They had Silent Bob.
They had Silent Bob. I love it. So Rick and Bob take back over the Montrose quarry. And so the business apparently was in substantial debt. And if they didn't take it over, the business would crumble and they would stand to lose a ton of money.
And the divorce didn't get finalized.
Right.
So technically he still owns it.
Right. So he can do that.
I still can't get over Silent Bob. Jay and
Silent Bob.
This is where Silent Bob strikes back. Just like
this is where, Silent Bob's coming in. Silent Bob was going to live on the quarry grounds in a camper. So to make it more comfortable, they decided to run a water line to it. And, because he didn't want to have to keep refilling.
Right, okay.
He's going to live there and manage it.
He's going to live there and manage the place. Okay, so he needs to make it, it wasn't set up to have a camper on the property. So,
right.
Okay.
So cool. Rick knows that there's a water tap in that area. So somewhere on the grounds, he's like, there's a water tap. So they're digging around to try to find where the tap might be.
Uh-oh. Digging is not a good sign.
Oh, but in the way of where he thought the tap might be was one of those large decorative boulders. So they grab a forklift and they move it aside.
Okay.
And they start digging there, trying to find the water line. But instead of the water line, they come across concrete under the dirt. And they're like, what the hell? So they start chipping away at the concrete. Right? Yeah, they're thinking, oh, maybe it had a leak or something. And so they're trying to blip. Okay. So they start chipping away and they find what looks like a human finger in concrete. So they stop and they call the cops to come check, knowing, okay, we only know of one person.
She was buried in the one spot that they thought was a water tap.
Yeah, kind of weird, right? So the human remains had been dismembered, then burned.
Oh.
Yeah. They were trying to get rid of this.
And then buried. And then covered in cement.
Yes.
And then dirt. And then a big decorative boulder.
Someone was like, they will never find this. But, yeah. So under the body was a pile of tax records, and the remains were covered with concrete and rock shale. I know. I don't know the significance.
Okay.
And they never came back and said the significance, whether maybe they were just using it as an accelerant or like to help burn.
Oh, okay.
The body better.
Weird.
But, yeah.
Random.
So concrete, rock shale, dirt, rock. And then,
tax receipts.
This is the worst, though. A dog had been killed and laid on top of the pile along with the trash.
What?
Why kill the dog? I don't know. Isn't that weird?
No, I have heard about people doing that, like where, you...
for cadaver dogs or something?
Yes.
Oh, to
so
set
that
off...
they smell the cadaver. So they smell, and they're like, it's not human remains, and move on.
Whoa.
Or if police start to dig...
They find the dog.
They find the dog and then go, all right, well, that's what was here.
Oh, my
and then
God.
Stop digging. But, usually they're looking for a body. These people were like, nope, there's got to be a tap under here somewhere. We're going to keep going till we hit China. We're just going to dig and dig and dig. Oh, it's like whoever buried her watched every true crime movie and was like,
I'm going to do them all.
We're throwing it all in there. Yeah, we're putting her at the bottom, and then we're putting this and this.
I'm dismembering her. I'm burning her. I'm putting trash and a dead dog. And
crap!
I didn't think about that. Oh my God.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, and they put trash. Oh my God. So sure enough, the remains are what's left of Irene and her dog.
Damn. Oh, it was her dog too?
Yeah.
See, now I'm upset about the dog.
Damn it. I was like, and it was weird. I found that only in one mention somewhere else, buried in other stuff. But the medical examiner was able to determine that Irene had actually died of a gunshot wound to the head.
Oh my gosh. Through all that, they figured it out?
They did. She wasn't totally crushed. So once the news gets out in town, people start calling in saying they had bought rock from the quarry after Irene had disappeared. And when they would be on the phone with, putting in an order, they would ask, well, where's Irene? And employees would just claim, you know what? She's on vacation. It's okay. We've got this handled.
Well, yeah, but what are you supposed to say?
Right.
Don't know.
Don't know. She disappeared. That's what I thought too.
Anyway, so is it 1 pound or 2 pounds of rock?
Right.
So
exactly.
What do you?
Right. Exactly. That's how I took it too.
Are you going to explain it like 8,000 times? No, she's gone. Don't know. Might be aliens.
Plus, then they might not buy because they're like some fishy here. So they were probably just
right.
And that's how I took it too. Was like they're just saying what they're being polite, being businesslike.
She's out. Personal reasons.
Right. But customers are, of course, they're trying to suspect everything. They're like, oh my God, it's got to be the employees. So they think the employees probably had everything to do with her disappearance, especially because her body's found at the quarry. So police bring in all the employees of Montrose Stone to question, but they're still not getting any further into finding concrete evidence of who killed her. Like, it's been months now. It's been, in fact, 6 months.
Oh my. Okay. And who killed her dog?
Yeah, exactly. Who would kill the dog? They've got to have something wrong with him.
They didn't notice that the dog was gone too?
Yeah. That's true. Maybe they were like, well, she took her dog, so she's...
But she didn't take her phone, her laptop, or her purse.
Yeah,
okay.
But the dog. Yeah, The police are fielding tons of tips from the public. They get things like the Mexican mafia has ordered her murder because of a bad drug deal. Another rumor is...
I'm sorry, that holds as much water as my alien theory.
You're probably right.
Bigfoot, Yeti.
It could have been Bigfoot. Probably was. So another rumor was that there's an illegal pot grow in her barn on the quarry property, but police had searched it and there was no evidence. I mean, you can obviously tell if there's a bunch of pot being grown. So
didn't find any.
I didn't find any. So one employee came forward and told police that she believed that Lionel had been stealing from the stone business for a while. She said that Lionel was taking quarry business calls on his personal cell phone instead of the office phone, and he'd sell rock and then pocket the money.
Oh, shady.
Yeah, pretty shady. And since Lionel helped with all aspects of Irene's business, he certainly had access and the means to steal from the business. So, but then when they talk to Irene's daughters, they're like, no way. Lionel would never do anything to hurt our mom. They've known him since they were teeny. But police are like, well, we'll put him a little higher on our suspect list.
Okay,
They've got him for the burglary. I think he's out, just on bail for it. Lionel decides, you know what, I'm done with this shit. I'm hiring an attorney, and he clams up.
Smart. Okay.
Yep, which he probably should do. And he doesn't help the investigation at all because, they're looking at him. Interestingly, though, Irene's father was a retired police officer. And he's doing his own investigation into a murder.
Good.
Yes. He believes investigators need to dig into Rick's life more.
Well, I mean,
yeah. Especially because the day of the murder was the day they had filed their final divorce papers. So they had just written them, but hadn't gotten them totally finished to actually go through.
Right? Yeah, I feel like that makes him suspect number one.
Yeah.
But
yeah, plus he's the ex-husband. But the timing's suspicious.
Who stands to gain the most from her disappearance?
Absolutely him. I mean, he would get everything. So the timing's suspicious, so police take Dad's advice and they focus more on Rick.
They needed her dad's advice.
They needed her dad's advice. I think he was badgering him is what was happening, which I would as well.
Yeah, I would have been.
I would as well. Yep. And he should. Plus, he knows how investigations work, and he was like, I can help with this, But
right.
7 months after the murder, police dig up a new lead. I know. Someone came forward to report that she had a conversation with a former employee of Irene's that said Rick had bragged that he said he would get the rock yard back, and he did. So he was like, I told you I'd get the rock yard back.
Yeah, that's very suspicious to say. Normally you'd hear somebody say like, well, I know I wanted the rock yard back, but not like this.
Yeah, that would be a much better way. This sounds like a little braggy. So police couldn't Rick. They couldn't Rick roll. They couldn't Rick roll.
So Ella's birthday is next week, and I ordered her a T-shirt that has a QR code on it. But when you do it, it Rick rolls.
It's a Rick roll
because she loves that shit.
Oh my God. So, did you see that somebody got a tattoo of a QR code that does that? And I'm like, are you kidding? This is your life.
But that's forever.
Anyway, okay, so this is not a Rick roll. Police said they couldn't roll out Rick. Can't get it right. They could not rule out Rick or Lionel at this point. Okay. Right. Investigators find out from others that Irene's former marriage had been volatile, obviously, and that often the couples would get violent with each other.
Okay.
But the girls said it was mostly their mom that was very violent. But during one fight, Rick put Irene through a glass table. Here we go again with glass tables.
Oh, see, I mean, if there's ever a reason for me to not ever want a glass table, it's because
all I see
when I see a glass table is
I know someone falling through it. Seriously, I don't
that
want
scene from Heathers.
Oh yes,
yep.
I love Heathers. Yep,
right.
Absolutely.
She falls. Yep. Yep.
Good one. See,
can't do glass tables.
Nope. If you get a glass table, we will now consider you a suspect.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Irene had voiced her concern to friends that she was worried that Rick might kill her one day. So she had said that.
People don't say that lightly. That's not something you throw out there. No.
Right.
No.
So she was worried enough that she had gotten a restraining order on him, and he wasn't allowed on the rock quarry property for a time.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me get this straight. Police, there was a record of him having a restraining order, and he wasn't suspect number one.
He's still not. Yeah, I'm wondering if he has some friends in high places or something.
Right. That's suspicious.
That's very suspicious. In an attempt to clear his name, Rick agreed to a polygraph. So that's good.
Okay.
The polygraph examiner said that Rick did show some indicators of deception with questions about the fights with Irene, But when asked if he had anything to do with her murder or disappearance, it seems he's truthful about not being involved. But that,
we know how well the polygraphs work, so.
So on September 14th of 2004, a confidential informant gives new info to police.
Oh.
She said she had been around Lionel Lopez after Irene's disappearance, and he had a book of poetry he had written, and several of the poems referenced Irene romantically.
What?
So, I know. Weird.
Wait, whoa.
Here, read my poems about my recently deceased employer. Creepy.
Weird.
Yeah, so she thought, okay, that means they're closer than most people realize.
So, sorry, I used to write poetry, and while I would have written it about someone romantically, I can't say I ever put their name in it.
And I'm not sure if she just took it to mean that it was Irene, but I'm guessing it had to have said Irene, because I don't think this lady knew.
Does Irene rhyme with a lot of stuff?
Clean. I had to clean Irene. Oh, there we go. See, that's what it was.
Cleaning the body. There we go. I had to clean the
you.
scene after I killed Irene.
There it is. We just we remade his poetry for him.
We just closed this case. Okay.
It could be such a good song. Okay, so she thought they're closer than most realize, and she decided she wanted to stay anonymous because she was afraid Lionel would come after her. So she was not willing to testify.
Oh.
But a month later, a man named Greg Haynes came forward saying that Lionel had told him multiple times that he had killed Irene. And
okay.
Yeah, hello.
And also, where were you this whole time then?
Right. Why didn't you come forward? And maybe he did, but maybe he didn't. I don't know.
Okay. Are we sure that Lionel and Rick aren't like friends?
Right.
You
Good
know,
thinking.
I
think you're on a roll there.
Why does it have to be one or the other?
Right. Couldn't it be both? Because we know that happens. We know that people hire other people.
Okay.
Anyway, so Greg, this friend, he knew Lionel from working at a landscaping company that Lionel provided rock for. So he validated the claim that another person made, saying that Lionel had been stealing rocks from Irene's quarry and selling them to the company he worked for. Totally separate of what other people had said.
Oh boy. Okay.
Only separate person, same
So that's
claim.
Corroborating that evidence. Okay. Oh boy.
Furthermore, Lionel and Irene were seen at Walmart. I was going to say a discount store because a lot said that, but no, it was Walmart. So they were seen at Walmart.
Let's just lay it all out. It was
just
Walmart.
Tell the truth. So they were there before she went missing, and it was the day before she went missing. Witnesses thought they saw the pair buying ammunition there. So this is Lionel and Irene. And when police are finally able to get Lionel into the station for an interview about it, they ask him about the trip to the discount store, to Walmart, and Lionel claims that Irene had owed him money for work he hadn't been paid for, so she paid for ammo he needed for a hunting trip he was going on.
What?
I know. What?
So she bought me ammo.
Right. And apparently he had rented a gun. I didn't know you could rent guns.
You can rent a gun?
That's a
I didn't know there was a gun renting option.
Geez. Talk about being able to be tracked. But anyway. Police also heard from witnesses that Lionel and Irene were arguing in the store before leaving. That's another bad sign. So
this is all heading into a bad direction.
Yeah, so police think, okay, they argued. Lionel drove Irene east of Montrose. He shot her in the head and took her back to the quarry. He tries to disfigure and dismember the body to make it hard to identify her. And they think he actually ran her through a rock-breaking machine on the property. And that's what kind of, but it didn't do the damage he assumed it would. I think he thought it would just completely obliterate her, but it didn't.
That reminds me of the woman with the wood chipper.
Oh, no. Horrible. Ah.
But, okay, I have to go back for a second.
Yeah, go back.
Are we saying that it's possible that Irene bought the ammunition that shot her?
It's very possible. Isn't that sad?
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, he doesn't get the damage to the body that he expected the rock thing would do.
It's okay, because I'm going to burn her and then put a dog on her and then cement. And
exactly. So he puts her in the hole, tries to burn the body, but that also doesn't work because it never does. Then he gets cement out and he fills the hole with cement. gets a forklift, moves the boulder after putting the dog in the trash in there. I know. So it sounds like it could be a plausible scenario, but proving it without evidence is like, what do you do? So the police feel that their witness, Greg Haynes, they're like, if he will testify that he murdered Irene, that Lionel had told him that he murdered Irene, we're going to be able to prosecute.
Oh, boy.
But, so for a year, police are building their case against Lionel on basically this witnesses.
Oh, God.
Yeah, hits a major snag when Greg Haynes dies. Shit.
Natural causes?
They didn't say. I know. So, yeah.
Because what if someone gets wind that they're building their case on his word?
Exactly. And that other lady already said she was afraid of him, afraid to come forward against him. Now that Greg is dead, all the info he had provided is invalid since he can't testify at the trial. So even without Greg, though, a grand jury hears all the information and they decide to move forward with first and second degree murder.
Don't they have him on tape?
Yeah, they probably
or something.
And I think that's what they're hoping they can use. Like,
oh my God! But they can't cross-examine him now,
right? So there's no way to. It could just be hearsay. So
right.
So no one else is willing to step forward to testify against him. The defense is able to claim the witness statements were nothing more than hearsay, which made it all less credible. And the defense argued that Rick may have. This is the defense arguing this. Rick may have paid Lionel to murder Irene so he could take back over the business, but Rick's not on trial, so it doesn't matter what they say.
So they're kind of saying, so Lionel's defense attorney is like, well, let's just say he did it, but he was paid to do it.
Exactly.
But then you're still admitting guilt.
Isn't it weird? Other witnesses are still unwilling to come forward at court, had said that Rick had put him up to the murder and paid him, but they're not willing to come forward and say that. So on March 29th of 2009, Lionel accepts an Alford plea. I know we've talked about those before.
Yes.
For 2 counts of accessory to murder, and he's sentenced to 10 years.
The Alford plea basically says that he's guilty.
Yes, but there's not enough evidence to convict him, and he doesn't want to admit that he's guilty, basically. So many are unhappy with the plea, of course, and if he's an accessory, who is he an accessory to?
Yeah.
And if he's the only culprit, then why is he allowed to take the Alford plea? Why aren't they doing anything with Rick? But anyway, in 2015, Rick passes away, never having been charged with anything.
What?
Yeah.
These poor girls are orphans now?
Yeah. Although I think by then they're all grown, but still.
But still, I mean, young adults.
Seriously, they're young. But his daughters are for sure certain he would never do that to them. Like we had said, he would never want us to be without our mom. But you just can't tell sometimes with people. So as for Lionel, he was out of jail within 5 years and deported to Mexico. Yeah, so it's like nobody's paying for this. She just kind of lost her life for nothing.
Wow. And so also these girls lost their mother, their father, and the guy that they thought of as an uncle.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's just like everybody, for them, it's just all their life is gone. And plus, Montrose isn't that huge of a town. I think it's like around 20,000. So everybody's looking at their family, and they felt so embarrassed.
God.
So that is the story of death by a decorative rock, basically.
Death by decorative rock. Well, if she was put in like the rock crusher thing, I mean.
So that's it. That's the end of
the
the story.
Decorative rock for murder.
I couldn't find anything else.
Right. It's really fitting. I don't know what else
really all about that quarry. So,
my God. What? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what other title you could have possibly used.
All right. Did you want to hear my sources?
I do.
You have more questions?
I'm sorry. I'm going back to the fact that, like, if the husband knew at all where she was buried, he wouldn't have dug up that particular spot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I think that might have been one reason. Or maybe he needed her to be found so that he could have legal right to everything. I don't know.
So she was officially declared dead.
Yeah. I wonder too. Because you wouldn't think he'd be like, let's dig right here.
He thought he was then going to pin everything on Lionel.
Yeah. Which pretty much happened.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Yes. What are your sources?
Yes. Okay. So the TV show Murder in the Heartland, this was one of their episodes on there. And of course,
That's the Heartland?
Yeah, I know. I didn't think that either. I was like, isn't the Heartland Midwest more? But
I'm like picturing like Kansas and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. But they're like, hey, we got to reach out to Colorado.
Well, they're also like, okay, well, we did season 1 and season 2, and now what are we going to do?
We got to add more. Yeah, so that was a good one. Dailycrime.com, unresolvedhomicides.org, veildaily.com, thecinemaholic.com, montrosepress.com, summitdaily.com, and the Denver Post. So I kept digging for more info.
Yeah, you got lots.
Yeah.
Hey Oddies, thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM. If you're a longtime listener, hey, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And if you're a new listener, thanks for giving us a try. If you like us, please drop us a like, subscribe, or rate us so we can share our stories with more people around the world. And if you'd like more information, like links to our podcast and socials, along with our Patreon fan page, those links are all on Linktree under ODFM Podcast. That's linktr.ee/ODFM Podcast. Side note, you guys, we're obsessed with fan art, and we love making things with it, like stickers for our fans. So if you'd like us to use your designs, send it to us at odfmpodcast@gmail.com. And if we use your design, we'll be sure to send you a sticker.
Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM, hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Production and editing by Kelly DeVries. Theme music by Eric Swanson. ODFM is a satirical true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only. The stories you hear are serious and true. The comments and opinions are not. We apologize if any of our content is harmful or disrespectful.